Let's begin our journey through the esoteric mysteries of the Kybalion and its 7 Hermetic Principles. Prepare to immerse yourself in deep and secret knowledge that reveals the true nature of our existence and the universe around us. First and foremost, it is essential to understand what the Kybalion is. The Kybalion is a mysterious book, initially published in 1908 by authors who called themselves the Three Initiates. This book is a fundamental work of Hermeticism, a spiritual tradition that dates back to ancient Egypt and Greece. Hermeticism is based on the teachings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, an enigmatic figure who was said to be a great sage and alchemist. Through the Kybalion, these teachings were synthesized into 7 Hermetic Principles that, according to their precepts, explain the totality of universal laws. The first principle is the principle of Mentalism, which states, "The all is mind, the universe is mental." This principle asserts that the basis of all reality is mental, that everything in the universe is a manifestation of the mind. Imagine that the universe is like a dream of the mind of a supreme being, and we are characters within that dream. Therefore, we are co-creators of our reality. Through the power of our mind, we can shape our experience and transform our lives. By understanding that our mind is a reflection of the all, we begin to realize the immense power we have over our circumstances. Imagine the story of Anna, a woman who lived in a small town and faced many challenges. Her life seemed stagnant, and nothing she did seemed to change her situation. One day, upon reading about the principle of mentalism, Anna began to change her perception. She started to believe that by changing her thoughts, she could change her reality. With this, Anna began to practice visualization and meditation regularly, imagining herself in a better situation. In a short time, opportunities began to appear, and Anna saw her life change impressively. This shows us that by understanding and applying the principle of mentalism, we can literally dream a new reality. The second principle is the principle of correspondence, which states, "As above, so below, as below, so above." This principle suggests that there is a harmony, a correspondence between different planes of existence, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. For example, the patterns of galaxies can be reflected in atomic patterns. The emotional states we cultivate internally can manifest externally. By understanding this principle, we begin to see that everything is interconnected and that actions on one level can impact other levels of reality. Imagine the life of Carlos, who always had conflicts at work and difficulties relating to his colleagues. Carlos began to study the principle of correspondence and understood that the external conflicts were reflections of the internal disharmonies he maintained. He began to work on his inner peace, to practice forgiveness, and to develop empathy for his feelings. Gradually, Carlos saw that his work relationships also changed and became more harmonious. This teaches us that by correcting our internal patterns, we can also transform our external reality. The third principle is the principle of vibration, which tells us, "Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates." This principle states that everything in the universe is in constant motion and nothing is truly static. The different vibrational frequencies of everything that exists define their characteristics and manifestations. When we understand that everything vibrates, we also understand that we can change our vibrational frequency and, with that, attract different experiences into our lives. Everything depends on our energy and what we vibrate over time. Let's consider the story of Mariana, who always seemed to attract negative situations in her life, such as toxic relationships and financial difficulties. By studying the principle of vibration, Mariana realized that her negative emotions and thoughts were attracting these situations. She then decided to practice raising her vibrations through music, meditation, gratitude, and positive thinking. Over time, she noticed that her life began to attract more positive situations and people, showing again how internal vibration directly affects the experiences we attract. The fourth principle is the principle of polarity, which states, "Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled." This principle states that opposites are actually different degrees of the same thing. Therefore, hot and cold, light and darkness, love and hate are extremes of the same spectrum. Let's bring in João's experience to illustrate. João always had conflicts with his feelings, sometimes feeling euphoric, sometimes extremely depressed. By learning about the principle of polarity, João began to understand that these extremes were part of the same emotional energy. He developed the ability to transform negative energy into positive, balancing himself. With this, João found emotional stability and greater harmony in his life, illustrating how extremes can be two sides of the same coin. The fifth principle is the principle of rhythm, which states, everything flows, out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. The measure of the movement to the right is the measure of the movement to the left. Rhythm compensates. This principle teaches that everything in the universe moves in cycles, and there is a flow and a reflux in everything. We alternate between highs and lows, success and failure, life and death. Understanding this principle makes us aware that difficult moments are fleeting and that better times will always come. Imagine the life of Lucia, a businesswoman who saw her business grow widely and then suddenly face a major crisis. On the brink of despair, Lucia remembered the principle of rhythm and understood that difficulties were a natural part of life's cycles. She maintained hope and continued to work with dedication. In a short time, the tide turned, and her business recovered even stronger. This experience shows us that by accepting the natural cycles of life, we can face adversities with resilience and confidence. The sixth principle is the principle of cause and effect, which states, every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law, chance is but a name for law not recognized, there are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. This principle teaches us that nothing happens by chance. Every action has a corresponding reaction. When we understand that we are responsible for what we sow, we become more aware of our actions and their consequences. Consider Ricardo's journey, who always blamed others and circumstances for the bad situations in his life. By studying the principle of cause and effect, Ricardo understood that he himself was the author of many of the events. By taking responsibility for his actions and changing his behaviors, he began to reap more positive results. His life transformed significantly, proving that by becoming aware of the law of return, we can direct our lives in a more positive and planned way. Finally, we come to the seventh principle, the principle of gender, which states, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This principle explains that gender does not only refer to biological sex, but rather to a set of masculine and feminine energies present in everything. These energies manifest in various ways. The masculine is linked to action, logic, and expression, while the feminine to intuition, creativity, and reception. The balance of these energies is essential for universal harmony. Think of Sophia's story, who was always very rational and logical, but easily overwhelmed and lacked creativity. By exploring the principle of gender, Sophia realized she needed to balance her masculine and feminine energies. She began to incorporate creative and intuitive practices into her routine, such as painting and meditation. This brought greater harmony and flow to her life, showing that the balance between masculine and feminine energies is fundamental for well-being and personal fulfillment. On our journey through the 7 Hermetic Principles of the Kybalion, we explored concepts that explain the totality of universal laws and offer us tools to shape our lives in harmony with these laws. Each principle brings a deep understanding of the workings of the universe and shows us that we are an integral part of this great cosmic mind. I hope this lecture has sparked your curiosity and desire to explore these teachings more deeply. Each principle carries vast wisdom that can be applied in our daily lives for personal growth, spiritual development, and the pursuit of a more balanced and fulfilled existence. Let these principles inspire your actions, thoughts, and emotions. If applied consciously, they can transform not only your individual life, but also contribute to the collective evolution of all humanity. I am immensely grateful to each of you for accompanying me on this journey of discovery and enlightenment. Keep exploring, questioning, and expanding your consciousness. Until next time.